Good evening, everybody. One second. Good evening, everybody. So today we are gonna explore the topic of the black men who are like joining the Hebrew Israelite type movement, right? So I know it's like, are they abducting our black men, right? This is a topic brought by Blessed B, and she's not in the building yet. I'm in the building, well, she's not in the building. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and bring up this article, right? Now, this article is it's made by Congress.gov. Okay. And they have something to say about the Hebrew Israelites because they have deemed them a terrorist organization. But we've seen this plenty of times in our history. Oh man, I closed the screen. Hold on. We've seen this plenty of times in our history, though, where where something comes along and it's empowering to us as black people. It's empowering to our status, our history, or whatever. It's making us feel better about ourselves, and they deem it a terrorist organization. This is not the first time. It probably won't be the last, right? So, I don't know if you guys can see it. I hope you guys can see this. So, the black supremacist wing of the Hebrew Israelite movement is spreading, and its leaders are growing increasingly militant. Okay. So, in this article, they express how, like the Israelites, basically, they have a building, and they are militant. They are together. They are disciplined. They have security guards. They wear black headscarves, black T-shirts, black military style pants. They tucked in combat boots. They have cell phones, billy clubs. They are describing them as, almost like very like scary, right? Now, mind you, this also says that the guards flip back and forth across the street between the parking lot of an apartment complex the police say is notorious for drug-related crimes in a building with covered windows and a bolted front door. Once again, they are insinuating, right? They're insinuating that these people are... Hey, Tiff. They're insinuating...
Hello.
So they're insinuating that they are into illicit drug activity in this, right? To further into that, to further into that, they're saying like this it's locked and everything else. it says that they're obsessed with the hatred for whites and Jews. And the leader of the Israelite church have managed to build up 29 church branches in recent years. And they are not alone. Around the country, thousands of men and women have joined black supremacist groups in the extremist fringe of the Hebrew Israelite movement, a black nationalist theology that dates back to the 19th century. Its doctrine asserts that African Americans are God's true chosen people because they, not the people known to the world today as Jews, are the real descendants of the Hebrews of the Bible. Although most Hebrew Israelites are neither explicitly racist nor anti Semitic and do not advocate violence, there is a rising extremist sector within the Hebrew Israelite movement whose adherent believes that Jews are devilish impostors and who openly condemn whites as evil personified, deserving only death or slavery. Now we can stop here for 1 second because when you're looking at it saying that African Americans are the true chosen people of God, um, this in itself would be a reason, I think, to see that basically that this is a reason why it is appealing to a lot of black men, especially in America. You know, you're saying that they're the chosen people of God, and then of course, in that same paradigm, the head of the household, the person that's under God, is the man. So,
Mm-hmm.
so in that, you're saying that the black man is the next thing that's more important to God. I could see that being very enticing.
Yeah.
Anybody, yeah, of course, I'm gonna want to look more into this. You know what I'm saying? And especially if you're using the Bible, which a lot of us grew up on, to spread this message. And so, yeah, um, we would see a rise in that. And I see also the reason why um, it's becoming an issue for our counterparts because anything that starts to raise an awareness in us that makes us feel like we have power, and also divine power, like this is saying, it would scare anybody that's trying to keep us from having it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, okay,
Exactly.
so, but then they also say that there are a racist group. And they can't really say they're anti Semitic, kind of, because their views are the same as Jews. They're saying that they are Jews. However, it is considered anti Semitic to talk down on the Jews, but not
Mm-hmm.
to talk down on the Hebrew Israelites. When they're
Hmm.
literally saying that they're the same, they're the same. They're just saying, hey, instead of them saying that the Jews are the Jews, they're saying, well, that actually is us. So any anti Semitic comment should apply to them as well, but it does not. Is it because of their skin color?
Uh,
So
Good. Wouldn't be surprised.
um, one of the problems that they do have though is that so they're talking about like the streets of Baltimore, which is where this took place at. Them watching the Israelite church in Baltimore, and they were talking about how they are basically accosting people and turning into this scary organization to where the people would feel like they shouldn't be around, right? So they were saying like first it's the question of skin tone. So if you have European ancestry, then you shouldn't even, come up there. But lately they have included West Indians, Latin Americans, and American Indians as Hebrews, right? Which would make sense because the whole thing is dealing with the struggle. That's their whole So they struggle here as well.
Mm.
And that's under that the doctrine, you know what I'm saying, that the people would have went through torture, they would have been misplaced from their land and everything else, and that definitely happened to the Native Americans here, as well as the African Americans who got brought here, right? Um, so in here once again they try to make them look scary by saying like they confiscate your phone or pat down, and you can't eat or have had sex before you come in there because then you're considered not clean.
Mm.
Um, yeah, they take your cell phone, they do all of that. They put olive oil on your head and everything else.
Mhm.
So then they're talking about the extremists. Now, this is the reason why they do a lot of this stuff is because they are really trying to stay close to their doctrine, right?
Mm.
Their doctrine deals with them being people of the Bible and keeping that culture. The way that they are describing them, though, is as if this is some insane, crazy, like, you know what I'm saying, like, like violent gang type thing. And it's not. They're trying to keep away. Like they wouldn't say this if it was the Amish.
Mm.
The Amish told you to leave your phone at the door. They would be like, okay, yeah, they do that. You know what I'm saying? So it is something when it deals with the Black Hebrew Israelites that they're making it like this is terroristic. This is bad. Why is it bad? Why is it bad? Now in this part here, they're talking about how they were yelling at they yelled at some Jewish man. He asked, "Is the Holocaust a joke?" He said, "It's a joke," right? To him, which is kind of that's very insensitive. Um, and they also yell at a lot of they say like white people. They accost them in the streets. They do have the videos up of a white man kissing their feet and they were like apologizing for the sins of his ancestors and things like that. And they also talked to hear about them yelling at a white woman until she cried, right?
Mm.
But the stuff that they're talking about, I mean, yes, we've all experienced this, right? As Black people in America. But like, can we say that that's right to do? I don't know. I wouldn't agree with their method, but I
No,
understand the madness.
either.
You understand what I'm saying? I understand the
Very
madness of it
extreme.
all. It is. It's extreme. And even in here, at some point, the KKK said that they were basically the opposite of them.
Wow.
They were the black answer to them. Um. So what what is the allure, right? What is the allure to this? They're saying that Jesus is going to come back and start a race war. And that the white people are going to either die and go into slavery.
Yes, I've heard this before. I've heard that before.
Yeah, so that's part of their doctrine, and it's supposedly backed up by the Bible. They back it up using the Bible. So to me, once again, like I say, with red pill and everything else, it sounds like they are being their oppressors. To me, you are copying them because the same things, the same things that was done to us, they're turning around and doing it to the next to them, right? Or trying to. You're applying it to them. They apply biblical racism on Africans to bring them over here. And then continued it with us African Americans, and then now they're turning it around on them, right? So why are black men joining this at an alarming rate today? What is this? You know what I'm saying? Because It is you.
Power, I guess I would say,
Yeah. The only
goes
issue I
along with
have,
it.
with it, right? Because I definitely understand giving our black men something to be proud of, giving our black men something to have pride in,
Hmm.
something to live for. You know what I'm saying? That regardless of anything in your life, that you are one of God's chosen people, right? I can understand all of that stuff. It makes sense. You know, we haven't had nothing to be proud of, especially as an African American, because everybody here always looks over to Africa, right? They go back to Africa, but as an African American, something to be proud of.
Hmm.
And they give the specific group African Americans something to be proud of. However, who they leave out is the women. And I don't care what they say. You are leaving the women out.
Hmm.
This just the Bible patriarchy in itself and Hebrew rhetoric and doctrine leave women out.
Yeah.
So where does that leave the women? This ain't like the Black Panther Party where they pushed the women forward,
Right. Right.
where the women had a role, they had something to do, they were teaching, they were out here, they were in front. You know what I'm saying? They stood side by side with their brothers. They leave us out of this. This is not for us.
So that's what we supposed to do.
Hmm?
So what we supposed to do? What happens to the women?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What is up with that? Because yeah, it's cool that you giving the man something to do, but our pride ain't in the man telling us what to do. I don't know what I know y'all want to live back in the 1800s and BC era and stuff, but this ain't that.
No, it's 2023.
This is not that. We are not there.
Hmm.
So, um yeah, I don't see where this is beneficial to us at all. A lot of their doctrine is very sexist, very chauvinist. It's just not for women.
Hmm.
So why it's hard to get behind it.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Do I agree with the government's um view of them? No. You're saying that they're a terrorist organization. I don't see that. I mean, certain people might feel like that because they don't like them and they're not accepting them, right? But just the overall terrorist organization, I don't see it that much. Now, of course, in every faction or anything, there's extremes. You know what I'm saying? Just like you can say that about Islam, right?
Yeah.
You can go to mosques all over the place. Some are peaceful, but then you got people who ready to kill for Allah. But does that represent the whole of Islam? Does it represent all Muslims? The ones that just are ready to blow up everybody and suicide bomb and stuff. That's not,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? That's not everybody. So, is there going to be some super radical Hebrews? Of course. But does that mean that the whole organization as a whole is terroristic? I don't think so. I think it is a positive message for men. I think that they really do a disservice to the women.
Yeah. It sort of sounds like it. Yeah. Yeah.
Hello, guys.
Hi.
Oh, oh, blessed.
Hi.
Blessed be the
Hello
fruit.
guys.
Sorry, I'm late to the party. So,
No
we're discussing why black men are converting over to um,
worries.
being
Yeah.
Hebrew Israelites in mass
Numbers.
numbers. It seems that they are
We talked about
really
this the
captivated,
article. This article right here that you brought
where
for
they were added to the
terrorist list.
Yes, which is crazy to me. And when I saw this article, I was like, "Oh, okay, so they're doing the same thing that they did with the Black Panther movement." Hello?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I heard the music. I heard the music go. I was like, "Wait,
Thought I
wait."
was tripping. Wait. Okay, so you hear it too? Because when
Yes.
Denise was when Denise was going over the article, I'm like, "Am I tripping? Do I hear something?"
This music.
I was like, "Hold
Is
on."
it
Okay, and it's like
distracting you? I'm
it's
like,
like
is
it's
it
skipping. Is
distracting
it
you?
skipping? Yeah,
No, literally,
it
I thought I
distracted
was
me.
skipping like a record, honey. I was like, "Hold
I
up,
was
wait
like,
a minute."
what?
Okay. As long as I'm not alone. Okay. Carry on.
Yeah, so when I saw the article, I was like, "Wow, like this kind of reminds me of the Black Panther movement." Except, Black Panthers wasn't, they weren't claiming Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior or claiming that they were Israelites or anything like that. But they were organized. And that's the angle that I'm, going with because I see them out. Like, I see them at the grocery store. I see them, like, everywhere. I see them openly, like, doing their thing in public places. So I'm like, what is going on? Like, what is the driving force, if you will, to they're converting over to being a Hebrew Israelite? And one of my good friends told me that he converted, and that's kind of like what sparked my interest in it. Um, he sent me some articles. Well, I'm sorry, not articles. Some scriptures. And basically, like, his thing is, like, if you're not a Hebrew Israelite, when Jesus comes back, he's not coming back for you. He's coming back for his people only. And then I know
Yeah.
there's
So
others that
what? Basically, black people.
I
Whoa.
mean, basically, like, if you're not, because the Bible is very descriptive about the Gentiles and the Philistines, and what I'm saying, like the Jews. And if you're not God's chosen people, then you're not going to heaven.
Yeah, but see, that's so backwards to me because it's the Jesus himself opened it up to everybody. So that's kind of weird. Like I don't like when you talk to most people who are Hebrew Israelites and who like are deep into that, they feel like it's a culture, not a religion.
Yeah.
It's who they are. So it's not something that you can like sign up for. You have to just live this life as a Hebrew. That's the reason why they dress the way they do. Like that article was talking about the way they were dressed. That's why they dress like that because it's part of their quote unquote laws. Um, hey Melvin,
Hey, what's
Melvin,
going on?
what's going on, my brother?
Hey, what's going on? I'm a little late to the party. Getting off work.
Me
Uh,
too, but it's all good. We all here. Sometimes we be on you know other
gotcha,
timelines.
gotcha.
So we're discussing basically um what is the allure of being a Hebrew Israelite for black men. And this is not to criticize anybody's beliefs or anything. It's just to get an understanding. I'm curious because a lot of men are converting. So I thought it would be an interesting topic to discuss, if you will.
Have you guys had your hypotheses or guesses as to why they do want to join the Black Hebrew Israelites?
well, mine was
Yes.
that when I read the article, it was saying that because they basically said that African Americans are the chosen people of God. African Americans, period. So when you're dealing with, um, you know, when you're dealing with just us over here, African Americans, they don't have a lot to be like. They don't take pride in being African Americans. They always go back to Africa. So to make African Americans something to be proud of and something to take pride in, I feel like that is something that is alluring, and especially for the men because that makes them next to God. You know, it's God and then African American man. Like so, yeah.
To kind of piggyback off of what she's saying, I think if there is this strong desire to know where you came from. You know what I'm saying? We basically were brought over here and stripped of everything we knew, our culture, our language, everything. So I think a part of it is a yearning to reach back in the past to kind of connect who you are with your ancestors. And then the other side of that is I think once you get into the Bible and you start maybe understanding different things, depending on your understanding, a lot of people probably feel like, well, if I'm not a Hebrew Israelite, I'm not going to heaven. So I think it's a combination of both, maybe one for other people. That's my take on that. What do you think, Tiff?
Tiffany doing something. Melvin, why are
Melvin?
you a Hebrew Israelite?
I am not a Hebrew Israelite. I never will be. Um, I'm, I definitely see each of your perspectives. I'm a little harsh. I'm very much a critic. So, um, when I see this particular movement, I kind of have observed it to be like a religious sect, or even if you get to the roots of it, a cult. And if you look at why people follow cults or join cults, it's usually because of what the cult offers. Um, Whether it's some sort of friendship or even like some aspect of family, an identity, um, sometimes connections, depending on, if they have certain connections to certain, points that benefit them in society. But I see it as a cult. Um, it has all of the elements of a cult when you look at followers, when you look at having the dominant force or the dominant source. Um, there's a community around it. It's open and thriving for years. It's not closed and shut off like a secret society or so. Um, it relies on manipulating the emotional and mental stability of those who choose to join it. And like a cult, um, it puts some in opposition of those who may choose to help them get out of it, such as family and or friends and other loved ones they become opposed to. And just because a belief or religion is applied to it, even to me, further substantiates that it's a cult. And I think when you look at it from that perspective, you can understand why people want to join it, and you can also understand the effect that it has. Um, Even
What's
just
wrong with cults?
You're saying
cults
it's a
can,
cult because that's what I'm thinking. It's a cult.
yeah, cults can be good or bad, but it just depends on the purpose of the cult. And that's the thing. What is the purpose of the Black Hebrew Israelite cult? is the purpose of the cult to benefit those who are within the society. It necessarily doesn't.
I think that they do. I think that that's what their purpose is, though. Like you may like not think that their purpose is valid, right? Like you may not agree with their methods, but I think that the purpose of the Israelites is to bring pride, is to bring knowledge and awareness to our African American people. We just
I,
don't
I
agree with
I
the
can see
knowledge
that.
they're bringing, but if you can't say that it doesn't give somebody a sense of pride and purpose when you have lived here under the oppression, under all of this stuff for so long, and here comes a doctrine telling you that you are these magnificent people of God. That can't, and then you get to go out on the street and tell people this and show it and live it. They that you can't say that they're I don't think that they're trying to do anything damaging unless you're not African American.
I mean, the FBI has them currently on the watch list because they appeal to a different authority that's not the authority of the government that this nation is a part of. So that puts them on the watch list.
I
As
know, but so was the Black Panthers, and I don't feel like they should
I
have been on
agree,
the watch list.
right? I agree.
Like because they were doing the same thing. They put them on the watch list. They'll put any faction on the watch list. What I'm saying, NOI, RBGs, all these people who deal with um empowerment of black people. Like, and then even though they can say that Hebrew Israelites are racist, right? Because that's what they put in there, that they're racist. They just hate white people and hate this and hate that. And because of what they spew and the things that they say, that can be attributed to them. But you couldn't have said that about the Black Panther Party because they just didn't like police. But they said black power. They didn't go
Right,
out here spewing the negativity like the way that you see them on the corner and doing all that.
right.
You want to come up here, sir?
Oh God.
So so you think is a well, I think that anything anything that is positive, you know what I'm saying? If this is really edifying your life and you have a sense of camaraderie, and you you know what I'm saying? Like you live a moral, correct life. I don't see anything wrong with it. Um, but I do find it a little perplexing, not really. I'm being sarcastic, that they are on the watch list because what have they done
Well,
to
I find it
promote
damaging.
racism?
I just don't think that what have they done to promote? Well, they did a lot to promote racism. I
Really?
don't agree with them at all. But what I'm saying is that I don't think that they are trying to be inherently bad. Like I don't think that they're going out doing. They're not like a gang. Like we about to just go spin the block and take these people territory. Like, I don't think they're doing that. I think that they are. They think that they are doing good. I don't agree with it because I'm a woman and I don't agree with how they view women and how they do the women. But are they racist? Yes, they sit on a corner and scream about white people being the devil and telling them to kiss their feet and to apologize and that some of them say like that the Holocaust didn't even happen. They take away Jewish people. They tell them that they're not Jewish, that they're imposters. Um,
Okay. So
like
now
they
I
do
see the
all of
So
that.
people.
so that's the part that makes
Yeah, that's
them
nah.
a threat when they're anti-white and anti-Semitic,
Yeah.
and if and they promote black supremacy, but then also they're attacking Jewish people. That makes them a
I
problem,
don't agree that
and
they're
that's why
anti-Semitic because they are Semitic.
but they're saying they're anti Semitic Jews because they're claiming they're the original Jews or the real Jews. So they're anti what we identify as Semitic Jews today.
Yeah. Hey, Gib.
Oh,
Pretty
Peace,
good.
hello,
peace.
Gab.
Gib thinks
Not,
Welcome.
that
not,
a
not,
lot. He thinks that a lot of Hebrew culture is damaged homes and relationships.
Wow, Gab. Hello.
yeah, yes. Hey, people say,
He thinks that.
How are
Yeah,
you?
I don't think I don't think that's right to claim that certain events did not happen. Um, that's insane. But yeah, that's just not. That's like somebody coming and telling us slavery never happened. It's just disrespectful.
Hmm.
Just highly disrespectful. People have um the horrible, horrible tragedy, and just that's
You going in and out.
uh, I get it now. Maybe I was ignorant to a part of it. Um, Gab, what do you think?
what, the Hebrew Israelite?
Yeah.
Yes. Why do you think?
Oh, man. So, yeah, yeah, some of them, like, not all Hebrew Israelites, there are different sects of Hebrews.
Hmm.
Right.
You get the camps, you got the ones who just practice the Old Testament, some practice both books. Some some is on their own, they do have their own type of doctrine. But the ones I think y'all are talking about destroy relationships, homes, because they brainwash these young men and women to come into their camps. And then when
Hmm.
they get into their camps, it's just like it's like any other cult. You got to follow orders, rules. You can't say certain things. You can't talk to certain people. You got to talk to the higher ups to have permission to do certain like. I think you just take away from being human when you join
Mm.
those camps.
So you're giving up your personal free will to serve
Yeah, to serve them and to hate
this.
everybody else that ain't
To serve
representing Israel.
man.
Yeah,
Mm.
Yeah, and that's what
So
I see that a lot in like the doctrines. When it's doctrines that people are saying, they got, you know what I'm saying? Oh, like she said, you won't go to heaven unless you're a Hebrew.
right.
Like, what does that mean? Because you can't just. It's supposed to be a culture. It's supposed to be part of. So either you are or you're not. You know what I'm saying? You can't become it. But it's like they're allowing you to just become it, and then it extends to African Americans only. Like, and what is that? How does that work? Yeah, like not Africans though, but African Americans.
Yeah. Um, it's very interesting um, to see how the pandemic kind of like played out. Well, actually, this was happening before the pandemic, but then once the pandemic came, I know all of us was looking for like some kind of spiritual, you know, introspective. We're thinking about our life. It was a scary time. So it's interesting to see how many men are subscribing to this now in order to have what they feel is called, salvation.
I think also the rise of KS, right? Because in
Mm.
that time that you talking about, where people were at home and they was online, and all this stuff happened, KS rose, red pill, all the different pills rose, and then
All the
um,
different fields rose.
yeah, it was like a rise in all the pills. All the people know red and blue and purple and
Red, blue.
black
I've never
and
heard
all
of
this
red
stuff.
pill, blue pill. purple
Red pill
pill.
been around
I
for a
had
long
no
time.
idea. But I mean,
Heard
other
of
than the
it.
Matrix, I never knew that people were like
Yeah, we're subscribing to pills. You want to know why?
subscribing to
You
it.
want to know why? Because it wasn't in our community. It was not a big thing in our community. When you have KS coming forward, and a lot of people who started to follow him are like, hey, these are the views of the red pill. Red pill, if you agree with this, now people start resonating with this red pill, and it comes over into our lane. It comes over to us. It's been a big thing over there.
Because now this is the birth of the manosphere.
No. The manosphere been here. It wasn't our fight.
It wasn't ours.
That wasn't our
It was
fight.
primarily whites.
It was
Yeah,
not our fight. That was their fight. Just
Mm,
like
yeah.
just like the women's movement wasn't our fight. This manosphere thing, that wasn't our fight. These men talk about they was victims of these women and these big alimonies and all that. That's not our fight. That was not our fight.
mm.
But what happened is when you have KS talking points and they allowed to move on over in there, okay, then they went over into that. Well, guess who else has those same kind of talking points? Hebrew Israelites.
Mm-hmm.
Hebrew
Mm.
Israelites have the same talking points. So when you start to resonate with that, they bring up red pill. Then you realize that that's the same talking points Hebrew Israelites have as far as the sexist part. Okay, the difference
Yes,
is
the
that
submission.
The Hebrew Israelites involve God, in some way, right?
Yeah.
They act like it's ordained by somebody.
Sound like a cult to me.
But the red pill is has the same sexist talking points. Oh, the man should be the head. The woman is supposed to obey and submit and follow orders and basically be their child. Um, but they just took out the God aspect. But they had the same
Wow.
talking point. So when you have the birth of this chaos, the manosphere moves in, and then the Hebrew Israelite movement, you're going to see a lot of people join it because now they feel like this is empowering on another level where they can now oppress women, and it's ordained by God.
So also, I mean, ultimately, if we're gonna tie in the Kevin Samuels aspect and the red pill and the blue pill and the beta and the alpha and all that stuff, it seems like men are having a hard time. And I'm not saying all men. I'm just saying those that participate in these, ideologies. They're having a hard time identifying their place in life, like as
Yes.
men. What is masculinity? What is masculinity
Well, you know what, and
in
that's also
2022?
that's
23, baby.
yeah,
I'm sorry,
2023.
23. Oh Lord.
That's the allure. That's the allure of the Hebrew Israelites. The Hebrew Israelites are like they said they were militant. They're like like I don't see them as militant as more as I see them as gangsters. They are gangsters for the Lord. Militant would be more like I'm serious.
It's for the
Militant,
Lord.
yes, because
For the
militant
Lord.
is more
No, you have to say
so
for the Lord. For the
Black
Lord.
Panthers. The Black Panther Party was militant, right?
Yes.
They had they had discipline. They were disciplined. They were there. These people are mimicking gang culture.
Mm.
They don't mimic military culture. They mimic gang culture. And gang culture kind of mimics military only in ranks. But as far as their movements, no. And that's more the movements that I see in Hebrew Israelites in their camps and everything is gang culture. When they're on those streets, when they're doing everything else, they are not militant. They are gang. They gang up on people. They dare you to come test them. They're not militant. They're not just standing their ground. They're attacking.
Mhm.
Mm. Guerrilla warfare, baby.
They standing on these corners like it's theirs. With
And it ain't.
a
But I want to
bullhorn.
get. But I want to go back to the whole Kevin Samuels thing because I think that's a great Kevin Samuels was just, he was supplying them with what they needed. That extra little, I'm a man, sit down. Oh,
Why?
dang, I can't help myself.
Just
But
why?
really, like, well,
Hmm.
because, like, I mean, personally, when I watch Kevin Samuels, what really irked my nerves is the way he would talk to the women. Like,
He
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 would get women,
never he
he
never
was
used to be
never
like that.
exactly like knowing how he started, right? When he was like really preaching to the men. And then I think that's what bothers me the
But I don't
most.
think Kevin Samuels was like that.
No,
You put
he
Kevin Samuels next to one of these red pill people or Hebrew Israelites, he is sassy.
yeah, but
Kevin Samuels was sassy and spicy. He was
yeah
not manly.
yeah, but he started off
No, but
uh
I mean,
he started off showing men how to like apply colognes and stuff like that. He
Yeah,
wasn't even talking to women
we
like
talking
that.
about in the rise of.
I'm not saying that he was manly or macho. What I'm saying is though, he empowered certain kind of men, you know what I'm saying, to continue to be basically jerks.
But he got it from an Asian guy. He didn't even
But my thing
originate.
is
It
that
ain't
it's
even his.
no,
Yeah, I
because this
heard
is the
that
thing.
before.
Hebrew Israelites do not even fit the definition of a high value man that
No,
he
not at
put out
all.
there. The definition
Oh
he
no,
put
no,
out
no, no,
there
no.
of H.
No, no,
No, they was
not at
already
all.
like that.
Not at all.
What you say, Gil?
Not at all.
They was already like that before Kevin Samuels
Yes,
came about.
that's what I'm saying.
Like
They
they was
don't
always saying,
fit
"Sit down, shut up.
that.
The women can't
Right.
talk. Go to
Mm-hmm.
Isaiah,
When a man
read."
is talking, you don't interfere.
Yeah, I
No,
mean,
not even that. You don't talk at all.
you can't tell. Listen, you talk to a Hebrew Israelite woman,
Exactly.
she'll tell you, "I'm not really allowed to talk to you or debate with you because that's what the guys do.
Yeah,
Guys,
they're
their
not
job.
allowed to teach. They're not allowed to know nothing.
They can't
And
do
I
none of
had
that
so
stuff."
many I had so many encounters in those groups where a guy would be like responding to what I said, but he'd be talking to another guy, but he'd be talking, crap. And then I would respond, and then his response to me would be, "Don't you see two men are talking? You're not supposed to, talk to us." I said, "But you're talking about me, sir. So what makes you think that I'm not gonna say anything? You
Go,
crazy?"
go, go to the Bible and they'll show you.
yeah, and that's the part that I'm saying. Like, it is empowering to black men, but only to African American men. Because what about us? What about the women? This is why you will
Well,
see an alarming number of black men joining, right? But
I
what?
know a lot of
I
Come
think
on,
your
man.
phone
Somebody
went
say
out.
something.
Right, I'm like, I think your phone went out. A lot of yeah.
I
So I
thought it was
don't.
my phone. The hell's
Right,
going
I'm
on?
like, what happened? Yeah, so I don't know. That's my thing. Like, where does it leave the women? Why is it only empowering for the men? It's a sexist movement. So although you're giving men pride, where's the women's like? Where are we at?
In the back, child.
like I
You
said, it
guys,
all
you
goes
guys
down
are,
to
you guys are to have
In the
the
back.
babies.
We
Play
have
your
the
role
baby.
Had the
and have the
babies.
babies. And that's it.
Yeah,
Shut up and have these babies.
But what about the ones that can't have babies?
Oh shit, you might not be in there.
you
Kick your
yeah
ass out.
yeah. You can't do no nation building.
You might be out.
Wow.
Sorry.
What kind?
We got a scripture for that too. We got a scripture for that too.
Well,
Yeah,
alrighty then.
You be like
she
that.
said,
What's
you
the
can
old
do
girl
no
name?
nation.
Who could have a
What?
baby in the Bible? Who could have a baby?
a
It was
bunch of
Sarah.
people
Who
could.
was it?
Sarah couldn't. She was barren.
Sarah could have that baby, right? Yeah.
You
That the
Mhm.
can't
Egyptian
build
woman.
a
Yeah, when
nation.
when when she couldn't have that baby, who she offer up? Her handmaiden.
Yeah, her
Yeah.
handmaiden.
You know what
But
I'm
yeah,
Mm-mm-mm.
it's that's the reason why it's like, so what it like when we want to know the allure. So then what is it about the men that makes them feel inadequate enough to have where they have feel they have to join organizations like that? Like, you know what I mean? Gotta
saying?
be,
Well, I mean, honestly,
inadequate at some point, right?
you you'd have to believe that that's how your that just have to be your thing, I
No, but
guess.
you have to feel like it's a need, right? You could have been a Christian if you just wanted to believe in the Bible. There was something about a Hebrew Israelite that made you say, "Nah, this is the way to go." And I understand that whole masculine empowerment part. I get it. I'm an African American man. I'm chosen. I'm next to God. Got it. What about the women?
I don't really think women get to. Well, I would
They
say
get
this.
to
I
they get
mean,
to brag about
if you
the men.
convert, I guess the idea is if you also convert, then you will be going to heaven as well.
Going to heaven? Where do you see
Look,
women doing that?
I am just offering perspectives here. I'm not debating anything. I'm not even trying to make it sound logical. I'm just saying that if it's a belief like, okay, I have to believe in Jesus to go to heaven. You know what I'm saying? So they have this is a belief that they strongly believe that if you're not a Hebrew Israelite, then you're not going to heaven. You're not a part of the chosen.
which solidifies for me why it's like cultish. But I think the thing is a lot of the women seek um like they seek those type of men, and so a lot of times they will go out and join these different sects of Hebrew Israelites, and they'll become a member, and they lived up that life of a Hebrew woman where it's very they're not allowed to be very opinionated and things like that, but they do it because they think that that's what they want or that's what they need, or in order to properly follow the laws of the Lord, you have to abide by those things. So I mean,
I mean, naturally, as women,
there's no shortage of Black Hebrew Israelite women
Hebrews are like
in
women in
in the culture.
the culture. Naturally, as women, though, we'll take the back seat.
No,
Yeah,
No,
not with
yeah,
them.
not with them. No,
Timothy.
I'm just saying in general. Like, it's not. You said where? What about the women? Like, where's our reward? I mean, I don't really know anywhere in the Bible that talks about women being rewarded.
Actually, through the
I
whole
mean,
Bible.
on the heavenly side, I'm not talking about on the earth. I know all the he who finds a wife and all of that stuff. I'm talking
I'm
about
not
like,
talking about he who finds a wife.
finds a wife.
Throughout the whole
Throughout the
Bible,
whole
the
Bible,
women
the
are
women
doing
are
stuff.
doing stuff,
But
but
it's just
it's
preached
just
that
preached that
women are supposed
women
to
are
shut
supposed
up
to
and
shut
shut
up
up.
and shut up.
That's not
That's
evident anywhere in the
and
Bible.
I know women did things in the Bible, and I'm not saying God doesn't love us, but I'm just saying like there's not like you know what I mean. Like even for me, even Eve's punishment was worse than Adam's punishment in my eyes.
Uh,
And like and mostly I mean everything in the Bible, I mean if you couldn't have a baby you were like you weren't even a woman.
well, that's because the whole point in this was to replenish the earth. That's, I mean, and people in general. So if you can't help out in that, you kind of like, are
Create
you?
someone that
Someone
can
that
help
can
out
help
in that.
out in that.
Timothy
Timothy
says
says
that it seems like it's a group of people that have had their identity stripped from them, and therefore they're looking for one. So, like being a Hebrew Israelite is one of many identities.
yeah. That's something
That seems
that's
about right.
that's something that they do in cult. In cultic structures, they form identities and give you identities. So yeah, they do that from not just from you know who they choose to identify as, but also the naming. Your name has to be Hebrew. Your attire, your diet, like you're changing your whole life
Yeah, it
for
changes
this.
everything.
Right. Like you're fully engulfed into it. There's no I'm just gonna stick my foot in it. No, you either all in or you're not.
Somewhat. But these people, they be somewhat.
Y'all ever hang with these people? I mean, 'cause I knew these cats for my whole half of my life. You know what I mean? Like the experience of occults, these different people, the religions. I've been around all of them half my life. And when this internet got popped in social media, I was like, oh damn, hold up. This is not you. This is not who you portray yourself to be outside of this thing. Now, come on, let's stop playing here. Cats ain't being real with themselves. They'll put, like I said, man, people, when there's a camera rolling, trust me, when there's a camera rolling, it's time to perform. We gotta look a certain way, talk a certain way, dress a certain way. But once them cameras cut, whole different world, y'all. I'm telling you. Because when you talk about a cult, you gotta think about what a cult is. You know what I'm saying? We seen cults. We can look at white cults. Looking at a white cult is no different from looking at a black cult. It's the same damn thing. To have a leader, you got to have somebody under the leader. You got to have the people putting the information out from the cult to everybody else, spreading the knowledge, getting them to come in. Once they come in, ask questions. When you ask certain questions, though, if you believe in that, you sound good, cool. Now, join us. You join them. Got to follow the rules. But guess what? You start to lose your family. You start to lose your relationship with your friends. And it's going to be all right to you guys because the people in the cult going to say, well, they're living in this world. They're not of us. They're not chosen ones of Israel or God or whatever. So goddamn, you losing relationships because your mom is a Christian. You can no longer talk to them. You ain't following their rules no more.
That's a
That's
lot.
how destroying homes.
not just that, you have to have a big point, Gab, is that their children automatically become wrapped into it.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Like a
see,
cult,
Mm-hmm.
like
I
a
was
cult.
I was thinking
Yes.
the same thing. Like when you, but kind of that's kind of like what they supposed to do. I understand that leaders also take advantage, right? But if you are supposed to be going by this and you're gonna immerse yourself in this and that's what you're gonna do, that's kind of what you're supposed to do. I
Why?
think that it's
Why
just
that's what you're
that
supposed to do? Why?
because that's what you chose to
Because
partake
they're not
in
doing it.
on.
They're not doing it.
I understand that. That's what I'm saying. I understand that the leaders, kind of abuse the
I ain't even talking about
power.
the leaders, Denise. I'm
And
talking about the other cats with titles.
titles.
I'm talking about the title guys. And they know they ain't following it. They know those guys are not following the same principles.
Who are the title guys?
The captains,
Oh yeah.
the
You
Deacon,
mean like the
these are the
recruiters?
guys with the titles.
Hmm?
You mean like recruiters?
No,
No,
it's
no, 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 no,
titles in
no.
the cult.
Yeah, you gotta earn your way to. You're a recruiter, but you gotta earn your way to be a captain and all that.
Okay. Is there like one principal face of the Hebrew Israelites?
No,
Mm-mm.
just like it's not one
no,
principal face of Christianity.
Exactly.
You have different
It's a
pastors, different
hundred.
deacons, different stuff. It's the same thing. They have different camps. They camps go to war with each other and stuff. They
That's
got
right.
different. They got different
Wow.
sects.
That's
They
It's
had
right.
it's a hundred
different
and
I
different.
mean, this
forty-four
is a
going
whole
watch.
nother world that I had no like. My understanding of it was minimal.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
You
Yeah,
know what I'm
it's
saying?
a hundred
Like,
and forty-four
It
gonna be a
means
watch,
something today.
and they're all different.
yeah.
Yeah, and this.
I mean,
I think they. I mean, they hold the same ideology. They hold the same things, but like I said, it's just a lot of, to me, people trying to be like their oppressors. That's all I see today from our black men over here. In them
I
trying
agree with that.
to gain an identity, they have tried to basically become like the oppressor and copy and mimic their movements and their strategies.
I definitely agree with that because I'm not gonna lie. Like a lot of the, Kevin Samuels things that I was hearing, I really felt like you could easily just translate that over to, what the Trump supporters are saying. You know, and just the way that you even talk about your own people. Because every group of people, we all have our things. You know what I'm saying? We all have certain issues in our communities, every single group. But for some reason, our issues are the like worst. That's how it's like portrayed. And I have a real big problem with that. Especially when you factor in the fact that we are much further behind other groups of people because of slavery. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you really you really set us back, and now you're talking about us, and then you convinced us to talk about our own people.
Hmm.
Well, I have a deeper understanding. This is an enlightening conversation. Yeah, very much so. Does anybody have anything else that they would like to, you know?
I agree with you, Timothy. Is he's saying a bunch of men that don't know how to assert themselves not have a vehicle to have an opportunity to assert themselves, and I think that, but I think that also when you're dealing with a Hebrew Israelite movement, it also gives them not just that vehicle, but it makes it a righteous thing. You know what I'm saying? Because you can sit here and you can spew
Yeah,
all
because if
kinds
you
of
put
hate
God
if you
on it,
want to, but yeah,
but you
once
put
you put
God
that
on it,
Bible and the God on it, exactly, now it's righteous.
now manifest destiny, we can, enslave people, kill them off with disease and famine. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing.
Now they
It's
can,
literally the same thing.
hmm and then they can do the same things. Now it's just like, oh, to black women or to anybody else. It's just that it's the same thing. To white people, okay, now we are the people in the Bible, and y'all are the ones that's, you know what I'm saying, the ones that are going against where before they had
Yeah.
twisted it.
And I mean, I may be wrong, but I don't think societies that, oppress women really do that well.
What up? What up?
I could be wrong. I don't know about every society, but I don't know, because there's never a day like I want to be like, yeah, I want to overpower the men because men are obsolete. And you know what I'm saying? Like I know who I am as a woman and I'm empowered by that, but that doesn't mean that I have to, stomp a man down just to be a woman. Like that
Hmm.
doesn't even make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
My femininity has nothing to do with anything. I mean, do I want your respect? Of course I do. But I'm not going to get your respect if I tear you down. And I don't understand why, men don't understand that. Like, why do you think this is the way to go, player?
Are you
It's
saying
the
that
same
men
thing.
don't understand? Well,
Well, I'm gonna say,
you're kind of
that
talking about
follow these
that.
doctrines about, you can't be a feminine woman unless you're quiet and you don't say anything and you just, you don't do anything
Yeah, but
other
most of
than
those things are
produce
listed.
children and cook and clean.
Yeah, but most of it is rooted in their understanding of the Bible. Like the Bible has fucked up the world because it has fucked up the world because from the beginning of anything, everything has been based on it. Okay, so science was based on it. Society's based on it. Norms is based on it. Feminine and masculine is based on it. Relationships is based on it.
Politics.
Everything is based on the Bible. Yeah, politics, like all of this stuff, they have based around this book and their understanding of it. Right? And so when you're looking into society today, that's what you see. You racism was literally came straight out the Bible. Oh, he had these sons, and one was this, and one was that, and one was the other. And okay, so we need to, get these out the way because they Hamites and they this, and they're not really so they marked with this from the Bible, and it's justifying things. And so then you know what I'm saying? It's almost like they made us their kids. So now we get older and we're justifying things using the same book that was used to justify fucking us up. It makes no sense. And the women that stood next to you and that endured with you and came out of this with you, those are the people you want to tear down now because you're so busy trying to be your oppressor. Because that is what you see as power.
But you gotta understand too, it's using that whole "you're not gonna go to heaven" thing. That's the bargaining chip. Don't question.
But that's not even that because you can't show me in the Bible nothing that say that. Like that's the thing. This is part of the mental conditioning. A
Mm.
lot of the Hebrew camps that I
Thank
see,
you.
they do not say things that come straight out the Bible. They will say a Bible verse and then tell you it says something totally opposite, and then because you don't know or ignorant to it or just new to this, you're like, okay, yeah, that's what it means. Like, no, it
Yeah.
makes no sense.
They're just like Muslims do over there um, in the Middle East. How their women can't challenge them on the Quran. They behead them, kill them because they don't want that correction.
Yes, it's sad. And then they
But
also
honestly,
use the
most
Bible
Christians haven't even
to
read the
say
whole
that.
Bible for
Well,
themselves. I've never read the whole Bible. Tiffany, have you?
have you?
No, ma'am.
So again, we're going by what we grew up in. The environment we grew up in was church. And if
Hmm.
you don't go to church and you don't go to Bible study and you don't be a good little Christian, you're going to hell.
So you
Yeah,
got scare tactics.
yeah. Because I've seen online, them argue um points, and I'm just like, where did they even get this? Where do you get this? I've had somebody totally show me a verse and say it says something, and I'm like, how did you even get that said that? You've never read it for yourself and figured it out. Somebody told you it said that. You're repeating that it says that, but it doesn't even say anything about that. That is a crazy paradigm. But I have seen these people on the street, and I've argued with them back and forth, and I stopped arguing with them because it was like some of them people they need this. They need it. They need this doctrine. And taking it from them would almost take away everything.
But if you've been told, because for instance, like with me, with I sing or whatever, and music has always been a big part of my life. And I wasn't a church girl per se, but I love God and I love church. You know what I'm saying? So one of the things that was hard for me to let go of was you're not supposed to sing any other kind of music if it's not for God, to glorify God. That was a big, that's something that I really struggle with, and I felt like I'm betraying God if I do that. And that deterred me a lot of the times for even really pursuing music because I didn't want to disappoint God. So that's what I'm saying. Like, if we're going to look at it from a sense of from the time you're a baby to the time you're like in your teens, because that's when you start questioning things, or maybe you do when you're smaller, but you're being told, well, you're not supposed to question God. But nowhere in the Bible does it say that.
Yeah, but
Nowhere.
when you're told you're not supposed to question God, what that really is
You're not supposed to
I
you're
don't
question
not
know the
supposed
the
to
answer.
you're not
pastor.
su-
I
you're
don't
not
know
supposed
the
to question
answer.
leadership, which is very
Right.
cultic.
I don't know the answer. Not only that, but they're worshiping the pastors more than they're even revering God. You see what I'm saying? So
Yes.
but the thing is, there's things that are said that are not in the Bible. One, you're not supposed to question God. Show me where that's at. You can't. The other one is cleanliness is next to godliness. That one's not there either. And I mean, I could go on and on, but these are the things that we're taught just to be like, okay, don't ask me any questions because I don't know the answer. I don't have the answers. I just know this is what I was taught.
Or
And
or don't or don't
also
question
it
my
says that,
authority. That's the other one. Don't
yeah,
question
and
my authority.
also in the Bible it says, it talks a lot about having the sins of people on your hands if you don't, do your due diligence as a Christian. So now I'm afraid.
Well, and then too, they use one Bible, the King James version. I don't
Oh
understand
yeah.
that.
As a
That's
matter of fact,
it's
so
the
many
thing.
people
That
tell
is
me
what that was
if
something
you're
that
not
reminded me
reading
of.
that version, that is you're not reading the correct word of God. I've had so many people tell me that.
Yeah, like what is this? What is about this version?
I don't really think people are really concerned with actually getting information. I think people are more concerned with just doing what they know.
I think that they give them that. Like you gotta understand. Like the people that they prey on, and this is it's a certain type of people that come into it, and um, it does. I understand the whole sense of purpose. I just don't agree with the message.
I don't agree with using fear as a way of making someone,
Strong.
worship. Yeah, that too. That too. I think it's very, and I think we also need to read the Bible ourselves, for our own understanding, not because, you know, the pastor said this and the pastor said that. Like, no, pull out your own Bible and read it and do your own research and gain your own understanding. Because just like when we read any book or any text, anything, we're all going to interpret it differently.
But that's not how it should be, right?
Well,
Right.
that's not
It's
how it
supposed to
should
be
be, but
organized.
that's right.
But
But that's human nature.
but I think when you talk about this fear thing, you gotta realize this thing with the Bible and Christianity, it has a huge history that needs to be brought back up again. We gotta go back to the time where they were actually utilizing these texts to rule countries, to take over territories, to hold wars over territories, to maintain control. Like, it's deeper than just trying to get to heaven and trying to convince people that they go to heaven or hell. It was purely political. It's about rulership. And so, yes, if fear can be used as a tool to get what they need done, they'll use the Bible to do it.
Perfect,
So
perfectly
you
said.
really got to go back to when
I mean,
even
back
like
in
the
the
holy
day,
wars took place.
you know, once the ruler of that nation decided this is the God that we going with, we going with this God. Anybody that didn't comply, you got hung or died, executed. It cost you your life. So I get what you're saying. You're right. It is deeper than just going to heaven or hell. It is really about using it as a way to control the masses.
Mm-hmm. Amen to that.
And let's be real, even if you um even if you are a good Christian, quote unquote, like I've been talking about this. This is a whole nother different conversation, but a lot of that crap is toxic.
Yeah.
A lot of people are not, following their own doctrine. I mean, the doctrine they claim is real and true. So, I mean, we could go deep into this, but that's going to be a whole different conversation. But yeah, I agree that I think everybody, we all yearn for something deeper. We want to know what is the meaning of life, what's the meaning of our life. And some of us, are more prone to certain, cults or religious beliefs that will make us feel like we have
Mm-hmm.
a purpose. Like Denise said, some people they need this because without it, their life has no meaning.
Yeah. But I think it's just a dangerous thing, and I think it's a dangerous thing for women in particular.
I think it's dangerous for women because we're always going to be the most vulnerable at any type of calamity or anything in life that is a whatever you know extremism, I should say, wars, famine, whatever it is, we're always going to be more vulnerable. But I think it's damaging to men because, like I said, they're tying their entire um who they are into these beliefs that, like you've mentioned, Melvin, destroys your whole family. You're
Yeah.
losing Gab mentioned that too. You're losing your whole family. You're losing your friends. I mean, I know one time in my life, I was hardcore Christian, baby. I was a legalist. Okay, I was following that Bible, and I was cutting people off. I didn't even want to hear a cuss word. A cuss word hurt my ears, and it was a lonely life. It was a lonely life.
Yeah, but then also, if you are going to subscribe to a faith, though, that's how it's supposed to be, because you're supposed to be like going against the wicked ways of the world, right? And following this Christian or this biblical mindset, and then finding other people to do it with you so that you can make a cult with them. I mean, society with them. So, so it's like that.
She said, I mean society with them.
but but it's just, to me, it's a thing that makes our black men turn against us and start to try to lord over everything and everyone, instead of how we were before in harmony. And they keep on
Right.
taking their oppressors' culture and basically trying to turn it into their own. That was not a thing. That was not something. We all came from Africa. That's not something you see there. That's something you see in Europe. That's something you see in
Yeah.
Europe. You don't see it there. You don't see it where we're at. Why are you doing that? Why are you taking their stuff and basically saying, no, it's ours now? We're going to do this to our people.
I
Why?
can.
Like, why do you see that as power? Like, why don't you see your own power?
It's
I
it's a
mean,
couple
even
things. Uh, good. I'll say this real quick. It's a couple
No, go
things
ahead,
that
brother.
lead up to that. Um, Denise, the first thing is, um, even though the oppressor is the oppressor also creates the social standards that we have agreed as a society to accept and live upon. You know, we choose to live like the oppressor because the oppressor says this is how civil people live. And both men and women, you know, as well as children that are aware of such standards, live up to those standards. And as a society, we hold each other up to those standards. If you don't fit those standards, you are considered part of the lower
A
end
heathen.
of society.
You're a
Um,
heathen.
if you fit those standards, then you are considered as part of the upper echelon or higher part of the society. So that's the biggest thing. But something I want to bring up, just for psychological purposes, you notice, and I'll stick with this to kind of circle back to the topic of why black men are following Hebrew Israelite faith. You notice in our society, especially when you study human cultures of past, boys do not have an initiatory system that carries them across between boyhood and manhood. Women do. Girls do. There is a process of teaching girls how to prepare themselves to be women and know how to take care of the home and know how to take
Mm.
care of themselves.
And
But as far
physically,
as
we change as well.
that, that too. But
Yeah.
boys do not have such initiatory system to prove or vet that they are ready to be men and ready to have a family. And so because that does not exist within our society, and because the standard is the oppressor, they will imitate the oppressor by default.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to like kind of bring up next. Like, how do we establish, or how do black men establish their manhood in society without having to oppress women or, compete with women? How do you think we could get there?
They have to learn how to be men.
So what
Well,
is
that's
Because
the thing. Like I said, that
so
that that goes back to what is being a man.
exactly
What does
what
yeah,
that
does
mean?
because
society say a
well,
man is?
well, I don't know, cause fuck what society says. Like, why are y'all even? I don't get that. I'm not a woman based
You
on society standards. It be based on my own because I'm not weak minded. I don't understand that. That to me is just weak as shit. When
it
you
is,
have
but
to have somebody else tell you what you are. That's just like, you know how some kids when they turn 18, you don't know how many times they gonna say, um, that they're grown. I'm grown. I'm grown.
it's
I'm
peer
grown. I
pressure.
ain't gotta do this.
Hey, I,
I'm
I
grown.
say that in
I'm
my
grown.
30s.
I'm
Shit.
grown. Right?
Yeah.
So when somebody turn 18 as a kid, they say I'm grown to everything because they just not being grown. And they gotta try to prove that they grown. You get to be about 25, they say it a little less.
but
You get
you
to
know
be
why that
about
is?
30, they say it a little less, right?
I've been, I
When
mean,
life starts to smack your ass a little bit, and you done paid bills, and you done paid dues, and you done been through this and been through that. I don't gotta prove to nobody I'm grown, motherfucker. I know what the fuck I do.
well, now
If
you
you don't
gotta
But
think
look,
I'm
vacate
grown,
yourself.
whatever. But when
but
you're
Yeah.
look,
18, 19, you steady saying it all the time because it's new to you, right? It's new. You get that.
no, it's
I don't
it's
have to do that. I'm not. No.
it's
At this point, I don't even give a fuck what you say. You want to know why? Because my rent is still due on the first, and me trying to prove something to you is not about to pay it, and you
but
not
look,
gonna
I
pay
get,
it.
I get what you're saying, Denise. I do, but I'm just saying this from the standpoint of basically women. We have like almost ritualistic things that we go through and we have to do to be women, or not real ritualistic. I should say physical things. Let me stop trying to use big words. We we go through a process, like we grow breasts, We have a menstrual cycle. You know, men, I don't know
Their
at
voice
what
gets
point.
deep, their
Well,
face
yeah,
gets
their voice
chiseled,
gets deep, but
they get older, their body gets different.
I get that and I agree with you. But I'm saying, like, if that's the case, then why on as a scale for men at this point, why do they feel like they have to go through these kind of extremes? Because like I told you, I'm perfectly
Because a
good
lot of them don't
being
are
me.
not a lot of them aren't adults. Fuck being men. Let's talk about being an adult. An adult is somebody that's taking care of themselves solely. And you
Okay.
can't walk down the street and find a bunch of single men who are taking care of themselves solely. You're not gonna go down the street and find a bunch of single men who their
I'm really
woman
not.
and their kids are living in their house. This is
I'm
my
really
house,
not.
and the woman and the kids moved in with me. This is my house, and this woman is in here with me. You're not gonna find a lot of that. You don't find a lot of single men doing this stuff on their own. They want to be a man in somebody else's shit. They
Mm,
want to be a man in somebody, then wonder why
Mm.
somebody is respecting them. But see, if they was going by the Bible
Preach.
like they saying they want to,
mm,
she would be in their house. She would be coming from her parents' house to their house, not
mm.
them moving in on her. So yes, you're gonna have that culture, and people feel like it don't matter if a man is in the house; he's just supposed to be the man. I somewhat agree, but not always, because if you want to be the man, it should be your house.
If
And
you
if you
want to be
gonna have
the
them
boss, you
problems,
got to pay the cost, brother.
you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? But when you have a doctrine like the Hebrew Israelites, where you're trying to tell a woman that it's ungodly for her to tell you as a man anything, but you in her house,
right.
but she the one
Mm.
paying the
What y'all
bills.
trying to do?
These her kids. You understand what I'm saying? But the doctrine says, is that
Yeah,
alluring to some people? Hell yeah. That no matter what, I'm the man. I'm the HNIC just because I'm me. Just because I was born an African American man and I'm supposedly a Hebrew.
mm,
Who not
But that,
signing up for that?
but that's why I say like it's it's necessary that sometime we figure out this lack of initiation thing because in older societies they would use
They would use.
initiation to vet whether or not you're ready for a family. You know, vet whether or not you're ready to be a husband. And a lot of people wouldn't pass the test if they were going through the initiatory process, just because,
Why do you
as you can
think
see now, a lot of people aren't really ready,
why do
really
you
cut
think
out
that women
for it.
have that? Women don't have that process. What are you talking about?
No, women don't have that process, but I'm saying
We get thrown,
men
we
don't have
just
that
get
process
thrown
either.
into it.
Right, right.
We get
But I'm
thrown
saying,
into it and we do it. A lot of women just kind of mold to a man because not having a man
right.
around and having a man around almost would give you the same reaction out of a woman. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Not having a man around, she might combat you and then get soft because she's not used to that. A deep voice or this, that, and the other, whatever. But having a man around would give you the same thing. She's used to that. She's used to everything. So she's used to kind of taking direction and things like that, right? But men not having a man around and having a man around, sometimes it could be different because a lot of men think being abusive to children is gonna may turn them into a man, and it might turn them into a punk. So not it's a difference here. You have that quote unquote gentle parenting. You have all of that, but I mean, just I think our men have to learn how to be adults.
Yeah.
Just be an adult. Like forget being a man. You already that. Be an adult. Take care of your shit. It shouldn't matter if you are a Hebrew, if you are the God's chosen people or not. You should be taking care of your stuff. Because if you do that, this stuff will fall in line.
Mm.
But by the time some men start taking care of their stuff, you bitter. Now you want to join the movement because you're sexist, not because you're looking for God.
Ooh,
Or
that
because you want to
resentment
follow
is
some
a
laws.
mother lover too. That resentment, oh my. That resentment is not a good place to be. But again, women, we kind of are molded, from childhood to take care of people.
Yeah.
Like we're taught clean, cook, take care of your siblings, fix everybody, fix it, fix the man plate first. You know, we're taught things like a way to a man's heart is through his stomach.
Mm-hmm.
Those things are taught to us men. I mean, the only thing I think men are taught, well, or you guys are told, I don't know. I don't even know. Where are y'all taught?
Go get the bag or go play
But
sports.
Go get the bag.
Yep, go to work or go play
I'm
sports.
gonna say this with all my love and all my heart. You know, I don't really feel like a lot of men are really taught to get the bag.
What?
I don't think a lot of men are taught
Mm-hmm.
to get the bag.
Taught is different
What?
from being told. Yeah, most
Okay,
men.
okay, being told. Okay,
Yeah,
that makes more sense.
most men. I would say a majority of men are not taught to get the bag, but a lot of us are told to either get the bag or go do something else to get the bag. Go to school so you can get the bag. Play sports so you can get the bag, but or just get the bag. But
What men are taught? See. Now we have to go to.
I'm saying that's what we're told. There's a
Yeah,
difference
no, I know,
between
but what
what
I'm
we're
saying
told
is
and what we're
now you
taught.
have to go to class systems because certain classes might be told to get the bag. Some ain't.
Mm,
That's true.
Uh,
That's why I say
So,
society.
you know what I'm saying? Go to
Society plays a role
school,
in
get
that.
the bag. Yeah. But some classes, it's like, oh, she got Section 8. Why you ain't move in with her? Why is you over here? Why you in my house?
Wow.
Go live with
oh
your girl.
yeah.
Go live with her. Don't she got a house?
Well, I'm gonna say this. I think like the older generations, like the Gen X's and things like that. I think that generation and the baby boomers, they were taught to have your own stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They were taught to get the bag. So let me not say like I don't know completely, but I think our generation is like you have some that believe in that, and then you have the others that's like, no, I'm gonna move in with my girl.
No, you have this generation is spoiled, and the ones
No,
Yeah,
under
that's
us
because
is
our
more
yeah.
generation,
spoiled.
the
yeah,
millennials.
it's spoiled because their parents were like, look, I'm gonna make sure my child never has to work a day in their life, not realizing the importance of them being
Of what
independent
they
and
had,
having to
what
get
they
it
went
on their
through.
own.
But
Yeah.
Yeah.
are we talking about the millennials? I'm talking about our generation, the
And I'm
millennials.
talking about our generation is spoiled as shit. You had the
Yeah.
generations before us had different things. They had trades, right, in schools. They had their parents were way more strict, way more scared. They parented out of fear. So it was
Hmm.
a whole lot of rules. You had a
Mm-hmm.
lot of rules still because they're coming from a very, very racist era. So their kids still had a lot of strict rules, strict things to follow. Get your trade, something these people can't take from you. They wasn't worried about universities. They wasn't worried about that. Colleges. No. Get you a trade, something they can't take from you, work in that trade and get your bag. Okay, follow these strict rules. Don't go making trouble. Don't do any of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? All of that. So people were still going by that. When you had their children, it was like, well, y'all can go to college now, right? They wasn't pushing the trade. They pushing
You
going
talking
to
about
college.
when Gen X's?
Yeah,
You talking about
our
when Gen X's
generation,
had
our generations.
Gen X's had us?
No, yes, and we're talking about us. I'm talking about us. When it came to us,
Okay.
we were the ones that was going to go to college because that was more
Mm.
available to us. We were the ones that were spoiled. We didn't have that many strict rules because it wasn't as racist, right? So they were a little more lax with us. We were a little more spoiled. We got to enjoy life a little more, got to do a whole lot of stuff, got to be more social. And they were more so trying to tell us to go to college, go to school, go to a university. They didn't push trades. As a matter of fact, they started taking them out of schools. Okay. Well, for the
Yeah.
people who ain't collegey, who ain't going to school like that, who don't want to do that, who don't have money for universities, whose parents didn't even know about universities or community college to get them into one. Now they just spoiled brats out here
Mm.
trying to make it, still trying to get stuff handed to them because it's been handed to them their whole life. And then they having kids. You understand what I'm saying? So yeah, it did. It messed us up.
Well, I mean, that's one aspect. The other aspect is, you know, we have a lot harder times buying houses. You know, everything's gone up. They haven't raised. I mean, they're starting to raise minimum wage, but I mean, let's be real. That's a joke. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot. We're living in a more difficult time than our parents. But yeah, I get what you're saying. We do have more freedom.
No, 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 because they
Um,
could get houses.
Yeah.
no, I'm not saying that we can't get a house, but I'm just saying like it costs a lot more, and we're
Well,
not
yeah.
getting married. We're not getting married and having kids like
Mhm.
our previous generations
But
before.
yeah, that's because they didn't.
We're
They weren't
waiting.
allowed to do the things that they did. Like I said,
No, I
if
get
they
that.
had
I get what you're
trades,
saying,
we
but
would have
what
been
I'm what
good.
I'm what I'm saying is because we're not marrying young, we're not doing that young. So a lot of us are single out here. You know what I'm saying? And trying to buy a $300,000 house when you're not making six figures. It's a lot more difficult for us than it was other generations. So it part of it, yeah, we were spoiled in the sense that we didn't have to deal with Jim Crow laws and stuff like that. And we've been pretty much, I don't want to say we don't have racism, but it's not like it was more hidden.
Our parents
You know,
spoiled us though because we didn't have to deal with that. Their parents
that's what I'm
didn't.
saying because every generation you want better for your kids. So they thought, okay, well, my kid's gonna go to college because I had to go to trade school and I had to, you know, sweat and blood and all my tears into my trade because I'm a freaking AC man and I'm climbing through freaking attics and shit, or I'm plumbing doodle and all kinds of stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I see what you're saying. I get what you're saying, and I'm gonna be honest. I think the entertainment industry, as much as I love the arts and basketball and things like that. I think a lot of us thought, oh, we're gonna go play football, basketball, or we're gonna be a singer. Hello, me, i.e., haha. Okay, and we didn't get our education, or we didn't get a trade because now technology is popping. We had cell phones and text messages and emails, and we didn't have to write things out with our hand anymore. I mean, people don't even learn cursive anymore. Like most people don't even write with their hands anymore. They're all writing on their keyboard, on their phone, or their computer. So yeah, I think a lot of things made our generation more lax than previous generations because really we have all the information in front of us and we're not utilizing it. You know what I'm saying?
Because people lazy.
We're not getting it out the mud as they speak.
Mhm.
Because they lazy. People lazy.
But
And then the
I
kids
will
is
say,
even
however,
lazier.
but I will say,
Right.
each generation
Gen
has
Z
its
is
pros
even
and cons.
lazier.
Now
Hmm.
Gen Z, baby, mm,
They even lazier because they have more stuff. I mean, at least I still had to go to the library. When
yeah,
I was younger, I still had
Yeah.
to go to a bookstore to
yeah,
get a book. They could just be on their
yeah.
phone, click, click, click. They got the book right there. Download it.
Not
I'm
only
reading it.
that, we had to get on the
You ask them
bus.
about a Dewey Decimal System, they don't know what that is.
A
Man,
lot of
what?
these
Right.
kids don't want to get on the bus.
How about a real encyclopedia? All them books.
Oh my
Okay,
gosh,
because I definitely
encyclopedias.
had a set of
I remember
encyclopedias.
that.
Okay,
Yes.
definitely had a set.
And they won't get on the bus. I'm telling
They will
you,
not.
they
They
will get it.
refuse.
They will get an Uber so fast.
Yes.
Okay,
They
you
do
gonna
not want
pay
to pay that
Like,
$15.
girl, if you
$2
don't go
to get on
grab,
that bus.
if you don't get you $1.50,
Peace,
get
peace,
on that
everyone.
bus, get you a transfer,
Hey,
and do
Haru.
what you gotta do. Hey,
Girl, you gonna spend
Yo,
that
I
$5?
remember.
No.
I remember my first job. I had not. Well, it was kind of my first job. It was my second job actually. I didn't have no bike. I didn't have nothing. I had to walk to work a mile. It was like a mile away from my house every day. I'm walking to work. I don't think. I don't think that they gonna do that. Nah. I'm gonna call this Uber and spend $7. I
Man,
mean,
my
more than
eventually I
daughter.
that.
got a bike.
Listen, my
I did
daughter
get
in
a
them
bike eventually.
school. My daughter in them school is down the street. It take them $1.75 one way to get on the bus and go down there. But she would rather pay $10 for
Wow.
Uber to go down there because during school time it's peak hours.
Traffic.
That's
Yeah.
work. That's everybody. You gonna spend that much to go down the street when you could have spent $1.75. I would
A
never.
dollar 75.
But this still remind me. It reminded me so clearly of when I was younger and I had that cell phone. And when we had cell phones, we was younger. We had minutes, and I would
Yep.
go over my minutes, and I would have to pay all this money. And I told my
Oh,
mama, I mean, I don't care. I'll just pay the extra. And she like, but you shouldn't have to. Stay within the minutes. You ain't got to pay this extra. 80 cents a minute
but I just
for
gotta
what?
talk to my friends. I just
You
gotta
can't wait
talk to
till
my
after 9. Wait till after 9 or whatever. And so,
no.
and I just felt like, but I got the money. I could just go ahead and pay. And so when I see her doing this stuff with the Uber, I'm just like, child,
You did it
because
too.
I had the same mindset. I understand,
Yep.
but it is just so
I don't
crazy.
want to wait. I want to get it now. I want it right
I
now. And
got
I
to. I
honestly,
have to right now.
yeah, right now, like right now. And I mean, like I said, every generation has its, you know, obstacles, and it's pros and cons. I mean, really, we kind of grew up in between having to walk places or take the bus to now we can do the Uber or the Lyft or you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
the only
our
game used
generation experienced a lot.
yeah,
We saw a lot of
like when I was a
changes.
kid, I wanted a beeper when I was 5 years old. By the time I was 12,
That was
everybody had a cell
non-existent.
phone.
Hmm.
Yeah.
She like
I
a
mean,
beaver.
we went from
My mama told
I
me
remember the
beepers was
beeper.
for
yes, I like
drug dealers. So I gotta
Yep.
I
have a
wanted a
beeper because
beeper.
they
Yep.
was for
I
drug
wanted a
Hey,
dealers.
beeper
listen,
so
Hey,
bad.
my mom said the same thing, and my boyfriend got
Hmm.
me one because I would get on punishment and he couldn't talk to me. So he got me one that you could leave a message and it'll write it out on the little screen. Like
Hmm.
you
Mm.
talk, you talk like it was a voicemail, and then to write out the
Yeah.
message. And he got me one of
Mm.
those so for when I was on punishment and stuff. I could still get his little messages.
Mm,
well,
mm, mm. I mean, we
I,
used to pass notes in
you need your
class.
mom to come pick you up, take you home. You had to use that payphone. Keep some
Oh
dimes in your
yes,
pocket.
dime, keep
Oh,
the dime. How about my
so I,
mama had a 1-800 number for the house?
She
Not a
was.
one eight
Man,
hundred number.
Man, one time I called home collect, I did not get that phone picked up.
I
Oh my
and I had
god.
wait, look, and I had to use it. She had me put that number in my cell phone, and I was like, I would never have to use this. But my phone was broke, and my car would not. I was 16. My car just wouldn't like it would start up, but it would not go forward. My transmission had messed up, and I did not have no
Damn.
dimes. I didn't have nothing, and I went to that payphone and used that 1-800 number, and it worked. It dialed the house phone, and I'm like, oh my gosh, my car gonna go. But baby, it ain't no house phones no more. I don't even know what happened.
I
hey,
think I
can
saw a
I ask y'all
payphone
something real
like
quick?
maybe 3 years
Go
ago.
ahead.
It was like a
I know how.
last payphone, and it's gone now. When I saw it, I was like, oh my god, that's a relic. That's like something they're gonna put in a museum or something. You know what I'm saying? Like this used to be a payphone, along with the rotary phone and the beeper and all that. I really wanted a beeper. I thought that was the cool thing, having a beeper. I ain't had nobody to, hit me up, but hey, I wanted it. And then we went from VCRs to DVD to now, it's an app. We went from, you know, tapes to
Cassette
CDs.
tapes.
Now it's on our phone. So like we really experienced a lot in a short amount of time.
Tapes,
I
CDs,
was gonna ask y'all
MP3
that. I was
players.
gonna ask y'all that question.
Yeah, oh
It was
yeah,
based upon
MP3s
this.
and iPods. I mean,
What you say? What you say, bro?
I was just about to ask
I
y'all a
used to sit
question.
there and wait for my
Uh,
song to come on the radio and
see,
record it. What?
he trying to talk and you keep talking.
Oh, I can't hear nobody.
I'm
Who's
Oh,
trying to
sorry. I'm
talk?
sorry. Um,
My
no,
bad. I'm sorry.
what I was asking because
Who
I know I
talking?
just
Cause I
jumped in the
can't hear them.
conversation, and what I'm gathering is, have y'all all realized just how much
Oh, it's
history we live?
my brother.
What's
Hi.
going on, sis?
Hi.
What's happening?
Okay, I'm gonna shut up.
No, but do y'all realize just how much history we have lived?
no,
They
really, we have
they
like it's crazy.
they are going to be talking about what we have lived for the next hundreds, if not thousands of years.
Mm-hmm. We done been through some things.
So I saw the title of this here of this show today, and I said, man, I can't miss an opportunity to at least observe, maybe even comment. But what a shame that when we realize how much history that we are a part of, right?
Right.
That you got
Mm-hmm.
people out here frying to be uh I mean, it makes no sense. When you think about all the greatness we could be accomplishing right now as a people, why waste the time?
Well, that's what we were kind of talking about. Not even just the history, but just the fact that like we see that people resonate with the Hebrew Israelite movement because they're looking for a voice, they're looking for something to belong, and they're looking for pride.
Hmm.
You know, and I think actually it's gonna be like part of our history. This Hebrew Israelite movement because it is attracting so many African American men to it.
I don't think you're wrong. I don't think you're wrong. I think that what it's going to call for is um, a negative assessment or a negative narrative behind it.
Oh
And
yeah, like we already talked about that. Like they're part of the terrorist watch list as
yeah,
racist and sexist and anti-Semitic, and they have them down as all kinds of stuff.
yeah, they've
Um,
already started the process. Uh, the thing is though, is what I'm saying is that when you look at this thing holistically, all right, what you have is, and let me explain something that I understand about the Hebrew Israelites. What they're trying to do is really unify black. even if it takes a lie to unify them. And I'll explain that. I say that to say this. Y'all see me. I debate these guys every day. I go head to head with them no matter what. And what I'm finding out is that majority, and I'm gonna say just about everyone I've come across, is nothing but converts. They came up Christian. Their parents didn't believe that they were Israelites or nothing like that. This is some stuff they found out as they got older, and then they believed it. It's something they heard of as they got older, and then they believed it. So what you have today is a group of converts that's trying to unite black people under a false premise. You get what I'm saying? Which I think is actually dangerous.
I
It's
mean,
very dangerous.
yeah, but it's the same thing that well, shit, that everybody who tried, besides the Black Panther Party, anything else that dealt with a culture or a religion, they can all say the same thing about that. Like all of them did.
You mean trying to unite people under false pretenses?
Yes,
Because I
because
mean,
everybody wants to join a culture or something like that. You're an African American, grew up African American, you're born African American. Okay, the Hebrew Israelites are the only people who are telling you to be proud in that. Everybody else is telling you that you ain't even that. You you from
See,
over here, you from over there. Oh, you need to praise this culture in Africa. You need to praise that one over there. You need to praise this one over here instead of yourself and being proud of yourself.
right? No,
but
I
if you
agree with
don't
you.
know yourself, which I think that's where this comes from, if you don't really know yourself,
Well,
like,
because they base it on you being African American, and that's the base, right?
right,
That part is true. In and of itself, you're African American. That's true. So then you start from there and go forward. Most things start from there and go backwards and tell you that you should look backwards to where you could have came from over here and praise that. They
Yeah,
don't
see,
tell you
that's
that
why they
to
run.
start where you are now and go forward with that. You understand what I'm saying? You came from this, you're here now, and going forward you should do this. It's you know what I'm saying? I think the Hebrew Israelite movement is the only movement that does it that way. And so therefore it's going to resonate with a lot of people because they're where they are
because
now,
they don't
they're
know where
African
they are, they
American.
don't know where they came
Yes,
from.
so since they're African American now, and you're saying that African American is the chosen people, then I don't have to think, am I from Egypt? Am I Igbo? Am I Ethiopian? Am I, you ain't got to do that. As long as I'm African
Yeah,
American and I know that, then I know that I belong here. And that's where they have that advantage over any other movement that's going.
Yeah, but see, this is the problem in that, and I keep trying to explain to people that this thing. The only reason why, let's say the Jewish community would even have a problem with anything that they're talking about is because it's political and it's it's their identity. It's an identity. It's identity politics. I want to say.
yeah, but also somebody coming to you and saying you're not the original people, and you and this and that, these events didn't happen. Like, I'd feel disrespected, bro. Just being
Yeah, but
honest.
see, you. This is the problem I have with both the Jews and the Hebrew Israelites is because you cannot start off with a mythological premise and then end with a scientific conclusion. So, in other words, right
Um,
now we all know that there are no genetic markers for so-called Jews, which would mean the same thing for the so-called uh, Black Hebrew Israelites. Because if you understand the diversity and haplogroups of Africans in America, then you would see a you would see a major problem right away. And so even with their documentaries and a lot of these people getting on here talking, um, clearly they don't understand genetics. And genetic evidence is what's going to really set this thing apart.
but it's not though
But the
because
difference is that
you
they
can still
actually
say
have
that.
traditions that they pass down from generation to generation. We don't have that.
But we did have that.
Mm-hmm.
We did, but we
It got
don't
taken,
know
so
what
you don't
that
know
was.
exactly, and that's their point.
And that's the
So
point
then
that
you
I
can't say
understand
that.
that.
So then you can't say that it's not. You understand what I'm saying? If we don't know what the traditions were that they had coming here, then absence of evidence isn't evidence.
Well, see, look, this is one thing that y'all have to go back to, and I will give y'all this. We have a lot of references of certain names, right? Um, and then you have to really question at that point in history, were they actual Hebrews? You get what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
for instance, look, I would challenge people to look up some of these, not just the revolutionaries, but some of the people that were enslaved that made an impact in history. And you can find their names through certain avenues of even researching some revolts and things like that. Find out what they actually contributed to that revolt. But the point I'm making is those names that they had, the first names didn't change. If they had, they a lot of them didn't even have a last name until they adopted their slave master's last name. But if you look at closely at the first names, they're not Israelite names. They're not Israel. They're not Israeli names. And my question is that if our ancestors was in fact Israelites, then why did they need someone to teach them the Bible? They should already knew it.
Mm.
They should have already knew it.
Well, another thing is that we were talking about is some of them are just converting. They're not even arguing that they are, you know, related to or direct descendants of Hebrews.
Yeah, exactly.
Some
So
of
that
them are
I
just
have
converting because they're being told that if you're not a Hebrew Israelite, you're not going to heaven because you're not God's chosen people.
well
That's
that
God's chosen people.
that's my point right there, sister. I have no problem with a person that can admit, hey, I converted to this. This is my faith and belief. I have
Mm,
absolutely no problem with that. Because listen, you're entitled to believe and have faith in whatever you want to. It
right,
becomes different when you come out here and you telling black folks in America that you are descendants of Shem with no kind of genetic
right, and
evidence
that
to
I
support
agree
that.
with. Yeah, that I agree with. You cannot prove that that is your lineage. Then, and the timeline doesn't even match. Geographically, it doesn't make sense. So it's kind of weird if you think about it because, I mean, if you go back, you know what I'm saying, to slavery where, you know, your ancestors were literally taken from the west coast of Africa, and now here you are somehow related to Shem.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, a lot of stuff just doesn't make sense. And I'll be honest with y'all right now. A lot of what their doctrine inquires, and that's through all of their doctrines that they have. They all believe that the scripture of Deuteronomy 28 is actually talking about black people of this time, or the transatlantic slave trade. But here's the rude awakening. The truth be told is that a lot of times in the Bible, it actually points out that the writer was speaking about what was happening at that time. It's not futuristic.
Mm,
It's not futuristic. Where especially when you can mention what they say in the days of King such and such,
right.
or it came to pass in these days. They're talking about that time.
Had like that time, the time. I mean, the only book that's actually like futuristic would be Revelations.
Mm,
Revelations was kind of futuristic. It kind of told about the
in a
past
way,
as well.
Well, but
But
but watch
the whole
this.
Deuteronomy
point of the book.
Deuteronomy 28 was curses. It was curses.
But yeah,
So
it
they
drew
it
it.
told of a time coming up, right? The only
Mhm.
problem I have with people who think that is okay. So it's so many different doctrines that involve the Bible. You listen to somebody like Farad Muhammad. he was saying that the Bible was a future event going backwards, meaning that it's a foretold. It hasn't happened yet. With the stuff that Jesus was talking to people that were not there, but that he was talking to the people who were going to read it later, which would be like us or later people, right? That's his doctrine. Farah Muhammad teaches that part, right? Okay, but then you have um like Hebrew Israelites who teach that that those curses clearly describe the transatlantic slave trade. No other slave trade, just the transatlantic.
Hmm.
Um, but if you read the Bible, mostly everything that was foretold in the Bible happened in the Bible. Literally happened already. Even from Jacob and Esau, like the whole thing already happened in the Bible. The Israelites being lost and then found happened in the Bible. Everything already happened there if you actually read the book. So it's like they kind of cherry pick things to feel like to fit their agenda sometimes.
Well,
Yeah,
to fit
But
absolutely.
where to make it make sense, to make it stick.
yeah,
Hmm.
but then it's also like, okay, in the same ways that the Bible is used to justify other things, they can use it to justify themselves, and there's really nothing that you can do to say that it's not that. To
I
say
don't know.
that to say that they're not
To
those
refute
people.
it
The same way they
it's
can't say it
reasonable.
is.
I don't know if
Right.
any of y'all are ex Christians or still Christians or know the Bible very well, but it does say in there where Jesus is supposedly said that all prophecies will be fulfilled within his generation. So if that be true, then all those people are dead.
I need that
But
verse, brother.
but but Jesus'
I need that verse.
generation is still here because he never died, right?
Right.
Okay, if you look at it in that okay, if you're looking at
He
it
rose
in
from
that
the grave,
context.
my brother.
Now
Yeah,
see, no, because what I'm saying is now, and the reason I say in that context is because that the Bible also says that nothing should be added or taken away. So that includes our interpretations.
but it doesn't
So
say
as
that
I
about the
read the
entire
Bible,
Bible. It just says that about the law.
but no. Listen what I'm saying. If the Bible is the inspired word of God, right? What gives anyone the authority to add their interpretation of what this actually means? So I read it word for what it is, word for word, what it is. But
Because the
but what I'm
Bible is not a book. That's what I'm saying. We have to take away, which is hard to do because it's ingrained kind of in society, right? We got to take away what they did to it. The Bible is not a book. The Bible is a bunch of scrolls that they found and put together and made into a book, right? Which is
right,
why
absolutely.
it says that you can't take away, you shouldn't add or take away from the law, because that's a certain scroll that involved the laws, right? But it can't be talking about the entire Bible because the entire Bible wasn't written together.
Yeah,
People
but
didn't
see,
sit down
but
and
see,
write it. It's different people's writings just put together, and they're saying it's the inspired word of God
well,
because
see,
of what people are saying in it.
this is my problem though, sister. When you look at this is in Revelation where it said nothing should be taken away or added, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at the Bible as a whole, all the scrolls, right? You gonna realize that there are 613 laws. Now Christianity wiped that shit out. They believe they should follow just the Ten Commandments and that's good enough. And then you
Mm,
have these so-called Hebrew Israelites today that don't follow none of the law. So I'm just
mm,
saying, we all online every day. We see these people in action. These are supposed to be holy men of God, but look how they behave. They don't have no respect for women. Half of them don't want to work. They refuse to work. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. It's crazy. I'm not gonna paint that picture for all Hebrew Israelites because I think that there is a lot of successful Hebrew Israelites. There's a lot of folks that actually get up off their tail, and stand on their feet. And you know what I mean? They working. They getting their money. But there is a good population of them especially the ones we see online that's trolling every day. These guys ain't got a clue in life. They don't. So I guess my biggest issue is that you have all these different camps, right? What are they really teaching our men? Especially if they can condone men not going to work.
I don't know if I don't really know what that's about. All I can really say is that um that has to go back to also like what are your own personal core values and morals without, making it religious. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like if you know, if you don't work, in my eyes, you don't eat. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Right. If you're looking to have an excuse so you don't have to work, then I'm not going to necessarily say that's a religious thing. I'm just going to say that's just what you wanted to do all along. That's your
Well, yeah,
nature. Well, yeah,
I
that's
think
you.
I agree
I
with you
agree with you
because
because
I think
I
that what
think that what
happens is
happens is
when you get a
when you
lot of
get
our
a lot of our
brothers,
brothers,
they
they
absolutely want
absolutely
to
want to
belong to some,
belong to something.
and
And
especially if they
especially if
think
they
that these
think that
people are
these
making
people
a
are making
very
a very
powerful
powerful
movement.
movement.
And I do
And
want
I
to
do
stand
want
on
to stand
something
on
right
something
now.
right
They're
now.
not.
They're not.
They're not.
They're
They're
not.
not
They're
doing
not
nothing
doing
but
nothing but
creating a whole
creating a
different
whole different
religion,
religion.
and they're no different than the church. I keep telling people if there was any power in the church, they'd have shut that shit down a long time ago. So just joining to be the if you say, okay, I'm not a Christian no more, I'm a Hebrew Israelite, you ain't found no back door into glory. You doing the same shit. They still see you as niggas out here. And they're not
And
gonna
they're not going to
hesitate to
hesitate
shoot
to
you
shoot
down.
you down. Like I
So you
said, I understand what you're saying. I don't want to say there's no good that comes out of church. I've seen
oh,
some
there's
good.
good
There's
come
good
out of
come
it.
out of it. I've seen good come out of places. Again, this goes back to what kind of person you are, what kind of church. You know what I'm saying? What are we doing? You know what I mean?
Right.
Are we really here to help other people, or are we here because we want to have power? You know what I'm saying? And ultimately, I think everybody, naturally, we all want to feel important. We all want to have some kind of control, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not gonna say I've been to churches where they really do help people. They really do care about the community. And I've been to churches where they just want you to pay your tithes and keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? So I'm
So
not gonna
let me
say
ask
that,
you this.
but I will say anywhere there's money and power, you always gonna have corruption. It's human nature. You're
Well, that's
not gonna
because of greed and
eradicate it,
ego.
huh?
That's because of
That's because
greed
of
and
greed and
ego.
ego. Right, but you're not gonna get rid of that because that's the nature of the world that we
Yeah,
live.
it's never
That's
going
our
away.
nature. Right.
I agree.
I agree.
But what I'm
But what
saying to
I'm
you,
saying to
sister,
you, sister,
is that
is
us
that
as
us
black
as
folks,
black
right?
folks, right?
We
We
realized that the
realized that the
Bible was
Bible
a
was a
tool
tool
used to
used to
justify
justify
imperialism
imperialism
and
and
slavery.
slavery. Now, when you say us, you mean us on this panel, or you
No, I'm
mean
saying
no? I'm just
I'm just
I'm
saying
just
black
saying
folks
black
in
folks in
general.
general. Not necessarily,
A lot
because
of
a
people
lot
don't
of
know
black
it.
people are still clinging on to the church.
Yeah, but a lot of
Yeah,
people
but a lot
don't
of
know
people
it.
don't know it.
But what I'm
But what
saying
I'm
is
saying is
that
that
us that
us,
are in the know, right? Us that's in the know, we know that the Bible was used to justify imperialism and slavery. And if you look up the slave Bible, they only gave them like a small portion of the Bible in fear of a revolt. You get what I'm saying?
yeah,
So my thing is that why would we us as black folks turn around? Because God didn't save us out of no damn slavery. We went through, excuse me, we went through 17 centuries of sub-Saharan slave trade. Then we turned around and went through 400 years of transatlantic slave trade. So in all this time, God had no intervention. He did not care. Why would we now, as black people today, continue to hold on to this faith and belief? What has it done for us? I got to be the fire starter.
No, it's not about being a firefighter.
We got to really think about this on a level of I'm gonna say this here. It's a level of empathy for our forefathers, which was our ancestors, what they endured, our foremothers, what they endured. You know what I'm saying? So
Well,
my
yeah,
my thing is
but
today,
those were
I wasn't
people,
raised,
not the book, though.
huh?
Yeah, but like they endured that from people, though.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is people listen, the people wrote the book and it was strategically designed and put together the way they did it. Just to listen, to absolutely rule over. I mean, if you think about it, what's the largest religion in the world today?
Astrology.
No, sis, come on, I'm being realistic.
One of them Abrahamic faiths.
You said astrology.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Christianity and Islam is
Yeah, I
like
was
at
like
the
one of them
top.
Abrahamic faiths. Yep.
You can't underestimate the power of fear when it comes to your soul. We don't remember. I mean, if we want to talk spirituality, we're not connected to it at all. We do not know what the spirit world entails of. I'm saying in general. You see what I'm saying? It's like I don't know anything about that. I know I was taught that this is what I'm supposed to do so that when I die, I can go somewhere and be rewarded for living a holy life. You see what I'm saying? I don't really think people give that enough thought, like how powerful that is.
But sister, let me
To
say
you,
this,
that
please.
sounds, hold on, wait. To you, that sounds stupid. But for people, especially people like me, because it took me a long time to even get to a point where I could say, oh, that's rubbish. And I still wrestle with it because it's a scary thing. You mean to tell me I'm a burn in hell if you understand what I'm trying to say?
No, I
It,
get
it,
I get exactly where you're
so
coming
we
from.
can't say, well, why don't we just wake up? You got to understand something. Our entire culture in America is centered around the church. We had community in the church. We organized in the church. We have political movements in the church. People that grew up in the church, they have a sense of this is my foundation of who I am. Our whole identity is connected to the church. So it's a little bit harder to just say, well, this was used to oppress us. How can we believe it? But you got to understand something. That's the only place we could be.
Well,
You see what I'm saying?
listen. Well, I feel like, and when you say that, you're giving yourself limitations, and I'll explain why. Because you have to understand something. These people absolutely hated black folks. They fed our babies. They used our babies as alligator bait, castrated us. Man, left our men's hinder parts filled with they semen through bug breaking and they raped our women, right? So why would these people turn around and give you a book that's gonna give you the truth? Why would they give you something that's gonna empower you? Wouldn't it make more sense to start digging in? Maybe okay, you try to ancestry DNA, find out where maybe you're from, and look at the cultures of those people. Why not explore that? Is it the fear that, oh, because the white man's God is so powerful?
Because why do we have to go backwards all the time?
Well, you had to listen. You
We
have to.
are who we
We
are,
study. We
and we
study
are
history. We study.
Forget history. We are a powerful people now.
Yeah, but you study
And we
history
are
so you
a
don't make the
different
same mistakes
people
of the
now.
past.
Okay, but we ain't in the same. We ain't in the past, and y'all already making different mistakes because you're too busy looking backwards.
I think I'm actually
Where
doing
we
pretty
at
well for
now?
myself, sister.
Where we at now is that we are African Americans, and there is no other people in the world that are like African Americans. None.
That's not true. Have you been to
So
Europe?
where's the other people in the world that
Have
are
you been
like
to
African
UK?
Americans? So you're telling me that in the UK there is a group of black people who got misplaced from their land, taken over there, culture stripped, was in slavery for years, came up in the land of their oppressors, and are now citizens in that land.
Yes. Listen,
Where?
listen, listen, sister. You are forgetting about the 17 centuries of the sub-Saharan slave trade. That went on way before. That went on before the transatlantic slave
You
trade.
talk about the Arab trade, the ones that was the other
Exactly. And
way.
let me tell you, a lot of people were displaced through there. They were displaced. So this is why I'm trying to
Yeah,
tell
they
even our
were.
Hebrew brothers, man, don't be so sure that you Hebrew. You could be part of a whole lot of different tribes. This is my whole point. Why not
You
explore that?
know, I
But
don't
their point is
understand.
that Hebrews are African American.
But listen, and that's even listen. There's no such thing as an African American. What you
Yes,
are,
it is. What
what
we
you
are.
are, what you are is African diaspora. You are actually prisoners of war.
Ain't
If you
nobody
allow
no
yourself to
prisoner of
be,
war.
if you
Cause
allow
we
yourself
ain't
to
at
be,
war. I was born here and raised here.
yeah, but
Who
you
wants
were
to live? What?
listen, you didn't just pop up in different regions of the world. This is why we have haplogroups. When we talking about genetic evidence, you absolutely have to
Who gives a?
understand that.
We ain't talking about genetic evidence though.
But
Well,
we're
I
more so
was.
talking about we're talking about religion and the reason why we were able to hold on to that religion because we didn't come here. We were stripped of everything we had. Everything about ourselves were taken from us.
Hmm.
And
So
everything that you would learn about any other culture is going to come from your oppressors.
right.
And this is my whole thing, though.
I'm gonna be
What I'm
honest.
saying is,
I don't see it. I don't think it's bad to want to know where your ancestors came from. Me personally, I don't see anything wrong with that. But you should definitely get a DNA test and do your research about what your DNA says. I don't think you should just adapt something because it makes you feel better about
yeah,
yourself
thank
and
you,
makes you feel
sister.
special.
Thank you.
I agree with that, but my thing is what I'm more so I don't get why there's such a big thing on why are we looking back. I think we need to look
Well,
back,
the reason, yeah,
not
because
No,
not to
I'm
be
not. I'm
victims,
not about to
not
look
to be
back
victims,
to
not to be
be
victims
whatever it
of
was that I
but
was. So I grew
see
up
without
here.
knowledge
I
of the
had a
past.
lifestyle here. So now when it says that I'm Irish, I need to go learn how to put on some wooden shit, or I'm
no, no,
Dutch.
no.
I
There
need
was
to
there
go
was
do this.
black there was
Now that
there
it
was
says
black
that
Irish
No,
people.
it's not about
it
a need.
doesn't
It's a
There
matter.
was
choice.
Now
black
that it
Irish
says
people
that I'm
before there was
Irish,
white
I'm
Irish
supposed
people.
to change. I
It's
don't
a
give a
choice.
fuck. Now that
You
I
don't
said that
have
I'm
to.
Irish, I'm supposed to go and do something other than the culture that I'm in and what I raised to be and what I have grown to be here. Now I'm supposed to go change that because it says that in my DNA there is something else that is
No,
retarded on
that's
any
not what
level.
I'm
It's
Well,
saying.
no,
dumb.
it's not. No, it's
That
not. All
is
you doing is
dumb.
That's
getting
not
back to
That
your
is
saying
the
you
source.
have
dumbest
to
shit I have
All you
ever
change.
doing is
heard in
getting
my
back to
life.
your source. You
You
got to
don't
That is
have
understand.
to
dumb.
change. You
That
don't
is
have to
stupid.
change yourself because you're 2% Irish or 5% Asian. That's not what I'm saying. I'm
That's not
saying
what I'm saying either.
for you personally, if you feel like that is something you need to do for yourself, then I don't have a problem with that. Knowledge of where you came from, I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying go and adapt
Knowledge
a
of
whole
where you
different
came from
culture.
is not going
I'm
to
not
make you who you are today. You are who you are
why
today because of who you are.
it doesn't mean that it's gonna make me who I am today, but if it gives me a sense of understanding of where my ancestors came from, I don't see anything wrong with that.
So if
Absolutely.
somebody
I
tells
don't see
you
nothing wrong with that.
you
That
take
doesn't mean
the
I have to
medicine
adapt to
and they tell
anybody
you that you're
thing.
45%,
Well, I'm
that you're
not gonna lie to you.
45% from not even Ireland. Let's say something else. You're
I'm 40.
45%
I'm probably
Italian.
at least 45% Swedish. Doesn't mean that I'm gonna make Swedish meatballs. And no, it doesn't. But at
Yeah,
least
but
I
you can
know
still
these
learn
are
about
my
the culture.
people. These are my people. Like I can tell you, my grandparents were bakers. I can tell you that I don't
Mhm.
know anything about my dad's side of the family. Nothing. That has nothing to do with, is it going to change who I am right now in this moment? No. Is it going to
Right.
change that I grew up in America? No. But it gives me a sense of, I know where I came from. I know what my family, maybe there was
Absolutely.
past traumas in my family that I don't know about. There's nothing wrong with
And
that.
you still won't know about it. That's what I'm saying. So even if you
But
know
you
where you came
could,
from,
but you
how does
could.
that change who you are
You
today?
could. Maybe something happened generationally and you can heal it in your generation, but that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah, but no, I'm saying how does that change who you are
I
today?
never said it did. Not one time in this whole conversation
And
did
that's
I
what I'm
ever
saying.
say
And that's what I
Knowing
was
that
trying
who
to
you
say.
are and knowing
Listen,
what
who
you
you
listen.
was
are.
does
But
not.
no, but
But
honey,
you're
you
getting
gotta
upset
listen to what I'm
about
saying.
Hebrews
You
wanting
No,
to be
might
listen
feel
what I'm
Hebrew.
like
saying.
you might
What
feel
I'm trying to
like
give y'all
you
is
might
that
feel like
majority
I
of our
don't need to
people.
know about my ancestors because it's not going to change anything. That's fine for you, but for some people, we want to know, where do we came from,
I'm not saying
where.
not to
Yeah,
know.
because
I'm
you got to
saying not
understand,
That's
to
what I'm
majority of our
saying.
people have
indulge
been
in it.
colonized. That's why they're
I'm
fine.
not even
They're
relating
fine with
this to.
this.
I'm not even relating this to the Hebrew Israelites. I'm just saying in general.
Me too. In general, most of our people have
because
been colonized.
because I think as a people, you have a right to know where you came from. You were stolen. Your ancestors were stolen from somewhere and brought over here,
Hmm.
and we had to make our own culture and do our own thing because we didn't have one. They came from wherever they came from. They came from Spain and in England and everything like that. They can trace their ancestry back. We can't. Even people that were born here, they don't even have a birth certificate. It's like they never existed.
Hmm.
You see
Right.
what I'm saying? I don't think there's nothing wrong with that, but do I think you have to go on a whole, now I'm Irish, so I'm gonna, celebrate St. Patrick's Day? No, no.
Well, what I'm saying is that you got to understand, majority of a lot of our people are colonized. What's up, man?
I
They're
mean, can you
colonized, and they're
expect us
happy
not
with
to
that.
be?
They're okay with that.
Can we expect us not to be? We were raped, we were tortured, we were beaten, we were in a land we don't know about. Can you blame them for being colonized?
No, what I'm saying is this. If I hope y'all understand me clearly. A lot of our people are colonized, and they're okay with it. They don't see. They
Because
don't
you
see.
don't know, like I told you, like I said, brother, you do what you know. It's more comfortable to do what you know. It's scary to go outside of society and be your
Exactly.
own person. And not
Exactly.
everybody has the courage to do that. That
No,
takes
I agree.
courage.
I agree with you because
And
fear, fear.
I listen to me, I'm gonna tell you right now, if you're not that person, that's fine. You can live that life. You can live a life that is not liberated if you choose to. We all have a choice.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? But at the
Yes, ma'am.
same time, I'm trying to give light as to why they've been conditioned from birth. Don't question God. If you go against the church, you are going to burn in a fiery hell. And this is
Man.
what you were from the time you are a baby. Think about it. You get christened in a church, you like 3, 4 months old. Your entire social life, political life, your identity, your entertainment comes from the church.
Yes. Programming. Programming.
And I land my plane.
And no, I absolutely, I absolutely agree with you because listen. In other words, this is what we dealing with is fear based issues. And the truth of the matter is that, can you imagine a God so powerful that he has to use fear to get people to believe in him?
I
When all
can't.
he has to do is open the sky and tell the world hello. That's a much more peaceful option, don't y'all think? Because I'm
Look,
telling y'all right now, there's 41 plus hundred
I can
religions in
every
the world
time you
today.
ask me a logical question, I can give you one that's gonna be told to you. Do not lean on your own understanding.
Mm.
You see what I'm trying to tell
Oh,
you?
I no, I understand. I
You're
overstand.
asking logical questions. I mean, and here's the thing: I still believe in God. My faith is evolving into something different because now I'm starting to question the Bible, and I am asking questions. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am.
But it took me a long time to get there.
Excuse me.
And not everybody is going to do that because it's better. We live in a society, just like there's so many people. I never had a ticket in my life. I've never done this. I've always done the right thing. You see what I'm trying to say? God forbid you get a parking ticket. Now you're having a dang meltdown because you got a parking ticket and you never did anything wrong in your life. But
No, I get it. I totally get it. Ooh, excuse me, family. I just come from outside. It's not really cold, but it's chilly, and it got my nose sneezing. Excuse me.
Oh, God bless you. I hear the baby in the
I'm sorry.
background. He whining. Oh.
But no, I think this is a really good topic, and
That is so interesting.
I'm glad to hear like all the many different perspectives, because that's what's important to me about all of this is the many different perspectives. I don't want to say that okay, my way is the right way, or because truthfully I don't have a way.
right,
I just believe in living in the flow, letting nature take its own course. You know what I mean?
I think
right,
Whereas like with religion, it teaches you like to be structured. Oh, excuse me, structured. You know, based upon certain laws. But we have to understand that no God wrote no book. This is the works of man, not God.
right. Well, this show is starting to get it a little bit lengthy. It's about 2.5 hours. So, does anybody have any final thoughts?
Oh no, ma'am. I'm glad I was able to join y'all though.
So, I thank everybody for joining us for this live. I thank everybody on the panel for adding your input. This was a great conversation.
yes,
Yes,
with
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
everybody. Hold on, y'all. I can't find my thing. I can close this out. Where am I at? All
And
right.
everybody listening, um, we thank you. Please like, share, subscribe. Please comment below on the video. Tell us what you think.
Yes, and if you have anything to add, we'll be here too.
I can't hear whoever that was.
Oh, I said if they have anything to add, we will bring you up here. You can come talk to us. All right, we in the building.
Like train
We
on
in
the
the
track.
building.
It's the bar.
The bar?
Yep, and I reloaded my clip.
And all new people, it be ready.
What the business
Hey, we got
is?
sultry and sassy, scientific and pseudo, religious and ambitious. Come give us your opinions.
At the bar reloaded. What the business is?
We in the building.
At the bar reloaded. What the business is?
We in the building.